One thing with Tesla that I'm kind of interested in, it doesn't impact the fundamentals at all, but it would be pretty interesting to see if we get an inclusion to the S&P 500 soon. I think they rebalance maybe sometime in December. So that would be pretty unexpected and a pretty significant catalyst in the future. And keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. This is just some random guy on YouTube drawing some stick figure lines on a chart talking to you guys. And if you want to support this channel, smashing that like button goes a long way. And also, if you're interested, feel free to check out my wife's Etsy shop. She makes these handcrafted beeswax lotion bars. They're really great for moisturizing your skin, and they make really good holiday gifts. Let's get into this. Yo, Marcus Scriber here. So it was just announced that Tesla would be joining the S&P 500, and this is pretty big news. And as you saw in my previous clip from my last video over the weekend, that I was thinking that Tesla might be added this December during the rebalancing. And if we look at the article right over here, they say that it will be added during the quarterly December rebalancing, which would be December 21st. And that is pretty interesting news. I wonder what stock or company will be removed from the S&P 500. This is just super exciting, and I was really anticipating this to happen. And the reason why I mentioned it in my last video was because actually not too many people were talking about the possibility of Tesla joining the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 kind of likes to kind of add companies on the DL when it's kind of not on anyone's radar. They did this with Microsoft, actually. There was a lot of hype and criticism why they did not add Microsoft. And it was actually years later where they added Microsoft on the DL, and not much people complained after that. But that was pretty interesting. And they announced that they're adding Tesla. This has some pretty interesting ramifications. So we know that funds can be adding Tesla the month before and the month following this announcement. So they might have been adding a significant amount before this announcement, which would have been smart. And at the same time, this is really encouraging for the stock price and for the overall EV stocks, because this further legitimizes the EV space. And also the people that are adding and removing companies from the S&P 500, they don't want to be adding a stock that they think might be in bubble territory. This is another indication that Tesla is at a valuation that's actually probably here to stay for the short to long term. And so this is really encouraging for the Tesla stock price and for other EV stocks to realize that we might not be in as much of a bubble as some may think. At least we might be inflated, of course, but the people that are adding and removing companies from the S&P 500 have that confidence that they wanted to add Tesla now and not wait another quarter or a few quarters, which is completely in their rights to do and maybe a strategic move. They don't want to impact their index in a negative way, and they want to make sure that the moves that they do are a positive for the index overall. So a very interesting move, a very wise move. I think that they will be seen as geniuses for doing this move right here when they did it, waited for the hype of the inclusion to go away, and then bam, make the announcement, have them in now. That was super cool. And now let's just jump into the charts to take a quick look at Tesla to see what's going on. So let's go over here. So this is Tesla stock. And if we're looking at this right now, I talked about in my last video here, the idea of we're staying above this line right here. If we stay above this line, this is bullish. If we go below this, this would be bearish. And we've been staying above this and having this crazy consolidation that's getting tighter and tighter, winding up for a huge move. And now where do we expect this move to possibly go? I think this is going to take out the all-time highs that Tesla has made in the near future. And what does this mean for the stock exactly? So if we're looking at after our price movement, at the moment when I'm recording this video, it's looking at $461.99, so 462 just about. That would take us up until right around here for tomorrow. I think that we might see resistance over here. So the question is, and this comes in right around 471-ish. So if we gap above this, that would be interesting. But maybe tomorrow we see a resistance happening at 471 and we don't get to go above this line right here. So be aware of this line here. We might not be able to surpass this, but if we do, maybe expect an open above this line here. That's kind of a huge move. I kind of think that maybe we just go to this line here. But I do think at the same time, we should probably take out this all-time high, at least get to this all-time high. As long as the markets seem favorable for stocks, and we're seeing a lot of good positive news, and we're seeing stocks in general make new all-time highs. And the S&P 500 has been making all-time highs, and that's really encouraging. So Tesla is going to be on track to make all-time highs from a technical perspective if we in fact are able to close above this key range up here. And this key range is around 460. If we can close above 460, especially on a weekly basis, this would be very bullish and give me an indication that we're going to see all-time highs. We could obviously still be within this trend line here and maybe just over time take out the all-time highs, but Tesla stock likes to make some significant runs, and I wouldn't be surprised for us to do that. But we will watch this pattern that we're forming here, see where we go. If we break out of this pattern here, it wouldn't be crazy for us to see prices as high as 550. But keep in mind as well that the inclusion to the S&P 500 is not fundamentally changing the company. It is adding a lot of excitement to investors with this stock. Getting added to the S&P 500 adds a lot more interest, a lot more people will be investing in it. Almost everyone will be investing in Tesla now by default. So that is pretty cool. And be aware of the dates here. We're talking about December 21st is when they're going to be added. And now, what company might be excluded? I have no idea. But let me know in the comments below if you can think of any companies that might be excluded from the S&P 500 when they add Tesla. And that's pretty interesting to think about and wonder what they might exclude for a Tesla. And this is overall very positive for the index and for the S&P 500. And I'm even more excited to buy some more S&P 500 shares. And maybe I'll increase my 401k because my 401k is mainly going to the S&P 500 equivalent. So I'll increase those contributions and make sure I max out this year, get my exposure to Tesla that way because I do own a lot of Tesla shares as is. So I'm very excited about that. Well, I'm going to end this right here. I hope you guys got some value from this content. And if you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. If you want to support this channel and get an amazing brokerage, here's my referral link to Etrade. I also included in the description down below. And Etrade is just an amazing brokerage. I definitely like Robinhood as well, but Etrade is definitely something I feel more comfortable with promoting for newer investors and for experienced investors. It's just a solid platform with a lot of resources. I'm really into Robinhood as well myself, but I know that it's easy to not be as disciplined with Robinhood, so I feel like you gain your discipline with Etrade, with that platform, and then go into Robinhood and knock yourself out.